Now we start the next topic, next chapter, molecular basis of inheritance. Therefore, name of this chapter is a molecular basis of inheritance. See, here the first topic is the discovery of DNA. The discovery of DNA, as we know, cell, discovery of cell. Robert Hooke discovered the cell first, right? Here, with the genetic information we have to see, the nucleic acid DNA. First of all, the DNA is discovered by Friedrich Miescher. Friedrich Miescher discovered the DNA. Actually, he discovered the DNA from WBC. From the WBC. Actually, he collected the bandages of from local hospital, and in the bandages, pus cells are present. Pus. From the pus, he isolated the WBC. Then he wash off that with salt solution, and then when he purify, dissolve WBCs with mild alkaline solution, cell lyse and the nucleus precipitates here. There is a precipitation of nucleons. Nuclei get precipitated here. From these nuclei, a specific material isolated by Friedrich Miescher, and that specific material is a nuclein. This is called as a nuclein. And due to its acidic nature, this nuclein is now called as nucleic acid. So nucleic acid present inside the nucleus of the cell, nucleus of the eukaryotic cell, because nucleus present only in the eukaryotic cell, prokaryotic cell lack nucleus. So this is the history of discovery of DNA. In this way, the Friedrich Miescher discovered the DNA. Now see next one. The genetic material is DNA. The genetic material is DNA. Actually, previously it considered that here the protein molecule, this is complex large molecule, complex and large molecule. So it stores the information. It is responsible for variation. It was believed in early 19th. Previously, scientists believed that the protein is a complex molecule, large molecule, so it stores the information from the variations, genetic information, and hence they were believed that the protein is a genetic material. Protein is responsible for the variation and other genetic information. But now we know that the DNA as a genetic material, DNA actually comparatively DNA is a simple and small molecule, so it do not store much more variation. So protein is a genetic information. It was believed in early 90s. But now we know that DNA is also large molecule and very complex molecule, and it have a lot of variations. It stores a lot of variation genetic information. So now we believe that DNA as a genetic material. So to prove the DNA as a genetic material, several scientists performed the experiments, and they proved that the DNA as a genetic material. Only DNA is a genetic material. In this series, the first experiment performed by the Griffith, and this is a Griffith experiment. Now see. Griffith's experiment. Griffith performed an experiment using one microorganism, bacteria, that is a Streptococcus pneumoniae. Streptococcus pneumoniae. This is the bacteria, round-shaped bacteria, Streptococcus pneumoniae. It infects the human and other mammals and cause the disease pneumonia. Streptococcus pneumoniae, this is a bacteria, round-shaped bacteria, rounded bacteria. It infects the human being and other mammals and cause the disease pneumonia. But in the Streptococcus pneumoniae, there are two varieties, two strains are there. See here, two varieties or two strains of Streptococcus pneumoniae. Here, first one, this is called as R strain. R stands for rough. Surface of this bacterium is rough due to lack of glycoprotein, due to lack of glycocalyx layer. The glycocalyx layer is thin there. So R strain, rough surface is there. This is a non-virulent. It do not able to cause the disease. So non-virulent, non-pathogenic. This strain, that is the R strain. Another strain is that S strain. S stands for smooth. Actually, this bacteria, glycocalyx layer, the outermost layer of this bacteria is a thick and called as capsule. So it is a capsulated. Capsule secretes a toxin. So it is a pathogenic, virulent, causing the disease. So two strains are there. R strain is a non-pathogenic. It do not able to cause the disease, while another strain is a S strain, which is able to cause the disease. So R and S, two strains are there. Now see here, Griffiths performed the experiment as he take the different strains, these strains of this Streptococcus pneumoniae, and inject the mice. How? See here. Actually, first of all, he takes the four suspensions. First suspension, here live R strain bacteria. He taken live R strain bacteria in first suspension. In another suspension, he taken the live S strain bacteria. live aspirin bacteria. In third suspension, you take the heat-killed aspirin bacteria. Heat-killed aspirin. Heat-killed aspirin bacteria. In fourth suspension, we take the mixture of heat-killed aspirin and live aspirin. Heat-killed aspirin and live aspirin. Fourth suspension. First suspension, live aspirin, heat-killed aspirin, and fourth suspension, heat-killed aspirin along with live aspirin. Four suspensions are there. Then individually, these suspension they inject into the separate mice. Separate mice. Then they observe that in first case, the mice survive. Aspirin is a virulent disease causing, so mice suffer from disease and get died. So this mice get died. Heat-killed aspirin bacteria, though aspirin is a virulent pathogen, but it is a heat-killed, dead. So mice does not suffer from pneumonia and it survive. In last stage, he considered that and he assumed that the mice should survive. But he observed that the mice were dead. And he recovered the live aspirin bacteria from the body of dead mice. So on that basis, he concluded that something is present in the heat-killed aspirin bacteria, which transform the live aspirin into live aspirin. The material present in the heat-killed aspirin bacteria transform the live aspirin bacteria, non-pathogenic bacteria, into the aspirin, that is a pathogenic bacteria, and then that aspirin causes the disease to the mice and disease become dead. So this is the transforming principle. It's a transforming principle. Here microorganisms, the bacteria transform, hence the graphic experiment most commonly known as a bacterial transformation. It is most commonly known as bacterial transformation. See, molecular basis of inheritance. The discovery of DNA. Friedrich Michel first discovered the DNA, nucleic acid. He collected the bandages from local hospitals. Here he collected the pus from the bandages, wash the pus, and he collect the WBCs, much more WBCs. The major content of pus is the WBC, so he collect the WBC. Then the WBCs he purified alkaline solution. Then alkaline solution lyses the cell. WBC is lyses the WBC cell and nuclei precipitates here. Then from the nuclei he isolates the specific material. That specific material called as a nuclein. And due to the acidic nature, that nuclein is called as nucleic acid. So in this way, Friedrich Michel first of all discovered the DNA. Now since the genetic material is real, previously it was assumed that, in early 90s it was assumed that the protein is large molecule in the organism living in. So it is complex, large molecule, so it have the variation, much more variation, and hence protein is the genetic information. Protein is genetic material, but later on, the several experiments carried out. Several scientists worked on this genetic material, and they proved that the DNA is also genetic material. In the series of experiments, the first experiment is a Griffith experiment. Griffith experiment. Griffith used one strain of microorganism bacteria, that is Streptococcus pneumoniae. This Streptococcus pneumoniae infects to the human and other mammals, which cause the disease pneumonia. Streptococcus pneumoniae occurs in two strains. One is the R strain, that is the rough strain. Surface is rough, hence it is the R strain. This rough strain is a non-pathogenic, non-viral, non-capsulated. It do not able to cause the disease. So it is a non-pathogenic. S strain is a smooth surface bacteria. It has a capsule, hence capsulated. Capsule secrete the toxin which cause the disease, hence pathogenic and virulent strain. S strain is a virulent and pathogenic strain. Now he performed the experiment. He taken the four suspension with four individual strain as R strain. In first suspension, he taken the live R strain. In another suspension, we take the live strain. In third suspension, we take the heat-killed yeast bacteria, and in last suspension, we take the mixture of heat-killed yeast as well as live yeast bacteria. Then they inject individually to separate mice. Then they found that in first case mice survived. In second case mice died due to the pathogenic strain. In third case, this is the pathogenic strain, but it is a dead bacteria, hence mice survive. But in last case, he presumed that mice may be survive. Mice should survive, but he observed that the mice get died. On that basis, he concluded that something is material, something is present in the Helicobacter bacteria, which is able to transform the live astrain to the live astrain. And then that live astrain infects the mice, causing the pneumonia, and the mice get died. That transforming principle present in the Helicobacter bacteria. This is the this is the transforming principle. And now this experiment extended by three scientists. These three scientists are Avery, Macleod and McCarty. The next experiment performed by three scientists. The Griffith experiment explained by these three scientists, Avery, Macleod and McCarty. Avery, Macleod and McCarty experiment. These three scientists extend the experiment of Griffith. He isolated the material of non-cellular heat-killed yeast bacteria. See, this is the yeast, heat-killed yeast bacteria. Dead. Then they isolate the different material as protein, RNA, DNA. Protein, RNA, DNA. They isolate protein. Here, different enzymes like the RNAs, which digest the RNAs, and the protein, RNA, DNA. These three components they isolated from the heat-killed yeast bacteria, and then they inject to the mice. Then they observe that they inject to the mice. Then they observe that in the first case mice survive. In second case, here also mice survive. And in third case, mice get died. Here, one enzyme DNase. The application of DNase digests to the DNA. This is the DNA digesting enzyme. It digests to the DNA, and this transformation process inhibited. But due to the RNAs or other enzymes in protein, enzymes of the protein, other enzymes, there is no inhibition of the transformation process. So on that basis, they states that the DNA, only DNA is a material which is responsible for the transformation of bacteria. Only DNA of Astren bacteria is able to transform the live R strain into the live Astren. So this is the, but many scientists refuse, they do not accept the DNA as a genetic material. So the next experiment performed by Hershey and Chase, they proves that the material which is responsible for genetic information, inheritance, heredity, and that is a DNA. And this is the Hershey and Chase experiment. Next is the Hershey and Chase experiment. Now see, Avery, MacLeod and McCarty experiment. These three scientists extend the experiment of Griffith. They take the hit-killed Yestrin bacteria, then isolate the different components as protein in different enzymes like the RNase, DNase, RNase, lipase, protease in this way, RNA and DNA. Then they inject this protein to the mice, RNA to the mice and DNA to the mice. They observed that the mice survive in this case. In this case also mice survive. But in this case, the mice suffer from pneumonia and they die. On that basis, they state that only DNA is a transforming principle. This DNA is able to perform the transformation, bacterial transformation, and hence the mice suffer from pneumonia and they die. But many scientists refuse this, they do not accept this. So the Hershey and Chase, these two scientists performed the experiment which proves that the DNA as a genetic material. This experiment we will see in next video.